was Charles Darwin who said, and I quote, "It is not the most intellectual of the species that survives. It is not the strongest that survives. But the species that survives is the one that is best able to adapt and adjust to the changing environment in which it finds itself."
Welcome to our freshmen and freshwomen to our second general meeting 2020 spring. Now today we'll be hearing from our guest presenters as they talk about the digital media world and some jobs that you can get from this. Before we start though, we will be having our devotion by Matthew Wright at this time.
A pleasant afternoon's greeting to my fellow DCSers. I have the privilege of sharing a quick devotional thought about learning to embrace change. Now, change can be very exciting. Things like owning your first apartment, meeting a new friend, or going into a new semester. Unfortunately, change can also be quite daunting when it's something we do not expect, such as a failed relationship. And the question arises, how are we supposed to deal with the many changes that occur in our lives? Well, the Bible says that there is a time and season for everything. When we look at change this way, we are better equipped to manage them. We can also be reminded that everything happens for a reason, and God can always help us work through any situation once we go to Him in prayer. Oftentimes, when going through these junctures, we tend to look at the loss that we may go through. However, as much as we don't understand what may be going on at this particular moment, we can rest assured that later will be greater, as a popular saying goes. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Therefore, while change can be hard, we can grow in our faith when we learn to embrace it. When we trust God's plan, He transforms us each and every day as His followers. Therefore, as we experience many changes during our tenure here at Northern Caribbean University, rest assured that all things most definitely work together for our good. This has been Matthew Wright. Thank you so much for listening.
No.
Now that we've invited the Lord into our presence, we will, of course, proceed with our icebreaker. Now, for those of you joining us on YouTube, feel free to put your responses in the chat. Our icebreaker for today is in the form of a would you rather. Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life? Let us know. How about you, Antonia?
I don't think I would want to have a rewind button or a pause button because if I rewind, I have to start school over. I don't want to do that.
Not at all.
And if I have a pause button, I can't graduate. So I don't want neither. How about you?
I think I would go with the pause button.
Why?
Sometimes you just need a moment to sit, relax, take a breath, and start again.
Well, let's see what the chat is actually saying. Let's see what they're saying. So I don't see anybody as yet. Nobody as yet. Okay, one person for pause, and next person for rewind. Okay. But, as I said, I wouldn't want to rewind or pause. I would want a breather. That's something I would want. But now we'll be having our emphasis spotlight, public relations, and journalism at this time.
Hi everybody, my name is Khadija Brand and I'm a third-year communications student with an emphasis in public relations, of course, the best emphasis. And today, for Emphasis Spotlight, we're going to be talking a little bit about internal communication. Now, as we know, public relations has having your employees, anyone that you work with, to build and develop a trust. So, in order for it to be effective, you have to ensure that you give your employees a voice. Allow them to talk back to you. Two-way communication is key in this process. And with internal communication, you want to make sure that you fix whatever issues are happening within the organization, because if the publics outside realize that something is going wrong, then they're going to pull away from you, and you don't want that. If you have a strong network, then all your efforts will actually prove successful, and you'll be able to better reach those who you are trying to reach and maintain that solid relationship with them. You want to make sure that you are fixing whatever issues are on the inside, right? So if it is that you are having a meeting and all the managers within the organization are having that meeting, it's important for you at the end of the day to give your employees an update about what was discussed in the meeting, so everybody feels as if they are part of the process. If you have a strong network, again, then it's going to translate into better relationships between the organization and the publics on the outside. So it makes sense for every single organization to develop their internal communications plan and fix what's wrong on the inside so you can better serve who's on the outside. Those were the little tips I have for you on internal communication, and I hope to see you again next month where we'll discuss something new inside public relations, the DCS Emphasis Spotlight. See you next time.
Thank you very much for our emphasis spotlights, public relations and journalism. But we need to hear about the TV and the radio now, because that is what I like. But we're going to be speaking with Sinokia Hibbert. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
How has life been since COVID?
Very interesting. Let me just summarize it at that. Very, very interesting.
Okay, so our topic today is the digital media world. What would you say, or what jobs do you think are available?
There are tons and tons and tons of jobs. I even wrote down some.
Right.
So for those who are listening or watching, here are some that you can, think about. Social media manager, that's a given with the impact that COVID has had, and not just COVID, but in general, more businesses seeking to go online and are opening.
Right.
So social media manager, customer success manager, virtual assistant, graphic designer, SEO plus growth manager. And if you don't know what SEO is, that is search engine optimization. That is a really, really big one that is in demand. Transcriptionist, English tutor, that is what I do. Email marketing associate, campaign manager, blog writer, ads manager, event planner, voiceover artist, and of course copywriter. And the list is
the list goes on.
Yeah.
Wow. So you spoke about social media manager, and I know I've seen a lot of jobs, especially on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm scrolling social media manager. However, I applied for a job, right? And it was also a social media manager. And when I got my interview, it was a test. No, that is not the traditional interview. You have to be prepared. You have to know information. And persons will see this as, oh, it's your social media. I know about my Instagram. I know about my Twitter. I know about my Facebook. But this is something that you really have to study.
Yeah.
We really have to know about it. Now, do these jobs pay?
They can, depending on the services that are required, the companies that are offering them, and the places they're being offered from.
Yeah.
Because a job that is being offered by a company in the Philippines is not going to pay the same for a job that is being offered in the United States or in Canada. So there are a lot of factors that influences pay. However, depending on the job, it can range between $10 to $25 per hour. That's what I have seen so far. It could be higher, could be less. And that pay range is more specific for jobs like social media manager or campaign manager or customer success manager.
Yeah.
But for example, when it comes to like a virtual assistant, the pay can be a little less, probably between $5 and $10.
I guess depending on how you work and your schedule,
yes,
you get the pay.
Your availability plays a huge role.
A very important part. No, is this a job that I have to have a next job, or I can make a lot of money off of this? Because you mentioned a lot of jobs,
Yes.
And virtual assistant, social media. Is it something that I can make a lot of money off, or I need a second job?
It depends on your availability.
Right.
For example, as an English tutor and as a student, you know, you probably have, say, 20 hours in the week to spare, and you would not make as much as someone who has a 40 or 50-hour week that they can dedicate to the job. Also, some jobs are just part-time, but if you do land a job, say, for example, in social media marketing, and you're being paid $15 an hour, when you do the calculations comparing the US to the Jamaican dollar, it can be a pretty penny. But I would not have anyone believe that you're going to be a millionaire.
Okay. It's not like a YouTube.
No.
It's not like a YouTube where you make a lot of money.
No, you're not going to be a millionaire.
What are some websites that persons can look up these international jobs?
Okay, so the main one for me that I think is the most useful, and I've spent hundreds of hours researching, Up to Staff. It is UP, the number 2, STAFF. That will give you a whole range of jobs in marketing and sales. If you are techie, if you know a bit about program development or anything like that, then they do have a lot of jobs available for that. I'm sure a lot of persons know about Upwork and Fiverr.
And Indeed, LinkedIn.
Yes. Freelancer.com. If you're a writer or if you like to write, then these two companies are hiring right now. Amplifier and Livingston Research.
Okay, so Amplifier. And what's the next one?
Livingston Research.
Livingston Research.
They're writing companies and they're hiring right now.
Okay, so that was actually the question I was going to ask you. And you mentioned the two companies that are hiring right now. However, how has this COVID time influenced you in the digital world, in communications, as we are communication studies and you're teaching English? How has that impacted you?
It has forced me to think more about, you know, my skills set.
Yeah.
And that is a point that I really want to highlight. We are not born knowing everything, or, you know, even here at NCU, we're not taught everything. And that's just the reality of life. So if you want to be able to, you know, put yourself out there, then you're going to have to do the work. There's so many courses online, Udemy, Google Digital Garage.
You can get your certificate.
You can be certified for free. If you want to pay, there are those options as well. edX, Skillshare, there's so many places. YouTube University.
Of course. We use that for a lot of stuff.
Yes. So instead of just watching the series, take the time to build yourself. And to learn more so that you can become more marketable in the world of media.
And for content creators as well, I know that some persons, just like our very own Basilia, we know we're on TikTok. She have her board. She lists out what she wants to do. She lists out, I want to create this on this day.
So vision board.
Right. She has her board that she...
That's another thing that you can look into. So don't just, say, oh, it's social media, it's entertainment. You can use it. You can harness the power for your own good and for your own development.
Lastly, what would you say to persons who are graduating this year, going into the digital world?
Listen, the streets, the job searching streets, they're rough, man. They're rough. So you're going to have to spend some time researching. Use LinkedIn job search. Be careful though, because not every job that is on LinkedIn is actually legit.
Right.
I was almost scammed by one job. So be careful about that. And most importantly, understand yourself. Understand what it is that you bring to the table. Understand what makes you unique. What is going to differentiate you
from others,
from every other person. Because there are sometimes 300 applicants for a job.
And what makes you stand out?
Exactly. Because the applicant tracking system, if your resume... Also pay attention to your resume. If your resume looks like 50 and 100 other persons, it's just going to reject you. So learn how to create your resume in such a way that is not only eye-catching. Don't oversell yourself. Be true.
Be confident, honest, but not too confident.
Be honest, because if you tell them so you can do something and you cannot do it when you're hired, you're going to get fired. So just know your niche. Be about developing yourself and understand what makes you unique.
And be educated. I think that's a very important part.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sinokia, learning about the digital media world. And for jobs, again, we need to learn that it's not only about social media. Being educated is really important.
Yes.
Getting a certificate and knowing your stuff.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll be throwing to our television emphasis spotlight.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Emphasis Spotlight, the television edition. I am Janelle Henderson, and for today's video, we will be looking at scripts. Specifically, we'll be talking about an AV script. An AV script is used in TV production, and it is a combination of both visual and audio instructions. So AV stands for audio visual. Audio is on the left, AV is on the right. It's a simple 2-column script. So under the audio, we'll have instructions that shares what we're supposed to be hearing in a specific scene or a specific shot. So for example, these are usually narrations or voiceovers, or even the person or even the subject speaking. Beside the audio instructions, we'd have the visual instructions, and these are what we're supposed to be seeing as viewers. So for example, you'd have a medium shot of subject, close-up of subject, etc. So this is a really simple script, and let me just get into an example of what it looks like. Okay, so here we have an example of an audiovisual script. On the left, we have the audio. This is Bob. Bob is a home sharing host. On the right, it will show what we want to see while this is being said. Usually, there are instructions as to what shot they'd want, a medium or a wide. But let's take a look at what this would look like if we were to produce this first scene or this first shot from this script. This is Bob. Bob is a home sharing host. Something today about AV scripts, and I hope you could use this into whatever your assignments or any projects that you have related to TV. Thanks again for listening. This was Emphasis Spotlight, the television edition. Take care.
Hey guys, I'm Trisha Gay Kelly, and I will be doing the emphasis spotlight for this episode of Gen Meeting for journalism. Now, just a few tips for budding journalists. Now, the first tip is to practice writing your stories. So whether that will be feature stories, hard news, or even letters to the editor, practice to write, because this will build your writing skills as a budding journalist. Now, secondly, you want to share these stories with your lecturers. And it may sound a bit scary because you say, boy, I don't want a little criticism, but it's good criticism. It is positive criticism. So I advise you all to share those stories with your lecturers so that you can get detailed criticism. So whether it's going to be them telling you to put this paragraph before this one or put your lead in this, definitely help you. And my final tip to you as journalists is to keep yourself updated about news. And this is not only for journalists, but us as media practitioners. But as journalists, you have to know what's going on. Right? So not only directly around you, you want to know what's happening in other parishes in Jamaica as well as overseas. That's why we have the course called Foreign News Reporting. Those are just 3 helpful tips for you journalists. I am Trisha Gay Kelly. I was born strong. I was made for this. See, I met so many hard times when I thought I couldn't make it. See, I had my trials when my pillows dried my eyes. Then the morning came and my wings took flight. I rise. See, I'm hurting but not broken. I am down but I won't die. I rise. Soon I will reach the sky, and still I rise.
Some say it's a mystery, how I still believe that in spite of all I've been through, I can still push the wheel. See, I have the power they can't see with their eyes. It's a little thing called faith that makes broken wings fly, and I rise. See, I'm hurting but not broken. I am down but I won't die. I rise. Soon I will reach the sky, and still I rise. Who can understand when just an ordinary man defies the odds and still fights on to win? I can take it, I can make it. I rise. See, I'm hurting but not broken. I am down but I won't die. I rise. Soon I will reach the sky, and still I rise. See, I'm hurting but not broken. I am down but I won't die. I rise. Soon I will reach the sky, and still I rise.
Hi, I'm Jonali, and welcome to another edition of Emphasis Spotlight Radio Emphasis. Now, today I'm going to talk about something that I think many of us may seem to neglect, or to be honest, we might not even think of doing this, and that is familiarizing yourself with the scape, and in this case, the radioscape. Now, what that means is, taking your time to get to know what's going on the airwaves right now. So a good idea is, dedicating your time to listening to a particular radio station, maybe a different station every day or a different station every week, just to get an idea of what's out there, what's ruling the airwaves, what people are interested in, and what we are feeding to our Jamaican citizens. Now, why is this beneficial? It's probably a situation where you're identifying a gap in the market that you think you can fill. It could be a situation where you're just looking for places that you want to work when you leave school, because the traditional stations, the popular stations, may not have any job openings when you're ready. So if that's the case, you might want to have your options open, have other options on the table. So familiarizing yourself with the radioscape, you might hear a station that is similar, has a similar type of style to the station that you wanted to work at. And you're thinking, this station suits my style. I want to work here. It could also be a situation where maybe you're thinking that I think this station needs some help, and I'm the person that can help this station. Whatever it is, it gives you an idea of what you want to do when you actually leave school. In doing so, you can also curate your list of top 10 places where I want to work when I finish school, that sort of thing. Now, regardless of whatever station you want to work at, whatever radio work you want to do, whether it's production, whether it's broadcasting, presenting, take your time to familiarize yourself with the radioscape.
Thank you so much to our radio emphasis. Now I'm here speaking with an exceptional woman, our lovely chair, Miss Noreen Daly. How are you doing?
Oh, now the gas up, every single time. I'm good. I'm going to make it short. I was smiling just now because if people had any idea, Antonio, what happens behind the scenes.
Right,
yes, before they see all of this. Two things. One, I've said it in my classes and I'll say it in Gen meeting. There's some of my DCSs who are still in that dirty habit of posting things on their status when they're upset about something. People manage what you put out. If it is that you're upset with something within DCS or otherwise, find a way to channel that energy and be solution-oriented. I recognized last semester that a lot of you didn't get the opportunity to say what was happening in your classes because the evaluation form, there was a technical glitch. Even if there's a glitch, you can still send me an email. If you even have a problem with me,
Come to you.
Yes, send me an email, but stop with the complaining and be all about solutions. Lastly, in the last month or so, Antonio, there have been about 3 persons who, in my mind, they're done with NCU. But let me tell you what happened to them. And I want to ensure that does not happen to a lot of our current students. Yes. Even when it is that the graduation list goes up, your name will go up and you're academically cleared.
Yeah.
But if you still owe money, your name will not go on that final list. Now, if your name does not go on that final list, you cannot then
be upset.
6 months later be asking for a degree because there will be no degree for you if you're not cleared. So let me make that clear. You have to be cleared academically and financially. Now, let me use you as an example because I know that's not going to happen to you. If it is, no, I'm speaking it over your life.
Amen.
If it is come August, you are academically cleared, but then you're not financially cleared. Do not then assume that your name is going to go on the next list unless you make that arrangement.
So in essence, you have to be cleared both ways.
You have to be cleared both ways and make an effort that if it is that something happens and you don't make that final financial list, that you then communicate to DCS and to the registrar that you're going to clear by X time. So you either then make it to the next list, which is December. Or then March.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you have it, guys. Be cleared or no way out of here. No way out of here. But I also encourage persons to not give up. It's really hard when you're not financially cleared or even academically cleared. Because as a person who is graduating and leaving, I want to be on that list.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Miss Daly. Now we will be presenting our guest presenter, Mrs. Claire Grant. Now, she is a media professional with more than 3 decades of industry experience across print, television, radio, and over-the-top television, OTT, with hands-on delivery of news reporting, copy, editing, product editing, sub-editing, marketing and sales management, general management, and strategic leadership. Now, Mrs. Grant is the first female general manager for radio services at the group and the first manager to manage all of the audio-visual services. Big up to you, Mrs. Grant, because you're doing audio. That's awesome. Now, Mrs. Grant is a former VP and current executive member of the Media Association of Jamaica and was last year elected as the vice president of the Regional Media Group for the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, that is CBU. Now, she lives in Linstead, St. Catherine, and is married and is a mother of 2 sons, aged 22 and 16. Welcome to Mrs. Grant at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Assuming everybody can hear me.
Yes, Mrs. Grant.
Hello?
Hearing you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Grant.
All right. Thank you very much for your welcome, and I am going to quickly go into the presentation that I'm going to be doing. I hope it fits in with the overall discussion about digital. I was listening a little bit to what was being presented, so I hope that what is being presented here, which from the perspective of our industry, which is media industry, it is I'd like to say it's the hottest event that is happening in terms of digital transformation within the industry. I mean, generally speaking, I know as students, you all are very excited about what is happening in terms of how you can engage digitally and the new job opportunities that have been created with this new digital platform in terms of social media and all of those different nice things that young people are so engaged with. I just want to put a little thought in everybody's mind, as one who has lived through a period before digital media as it is now described. And I'd like to just give you a little food for thought, because of the digital interface that we have there in the internet and what it has evolved into. Everything has changed. But I just want you to realize that on a certain level, absolutely nothing has changed. I just want you to think about that a little bit. We can talk about it after. Everything has changed, but on a certain level, absolutely nothing has changed. Now, I'm going to be talking to you about digital as it relates to television and the most exciting development in television's history, probably since TV moved from black and white to color. And I'm excited about the fact that the group that I am working with, the country that I am in, is on the forefront of a change that is going to revolutionize the television experience, and I dare say the audiovisual experience moving forward. So we're going to have a very short presentation that is going to come up in the middle of this PowerPoint presentation that I'm doing, and I'm just going to kind of talk you through what it means. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about something that is referred to as next generation television or next gen TV. For us in Jamaica, it is what is referred to as digital switchover. Why digital switchover? What are we switching? So for the free-to-air players in Jamaica, which Television Jamaica is one, we have been transmitting over-the-air signals with analog technology. And last year, 2021, January 21, 2021, our minister that is responsible for our industry announced that we need to transition to digital transmission of the signal. And that transmission needed to start in January 2022. And so we're very excited at the end of January, and it was very important to us to hit the deadlines that the government had put in place. So on Monday, January 31st, we turned on what is the very first ATSC 3.0 transmitter, the first in the Caribbean, the third in the world, and essentially is Television Jamaica and Jamaica embracing its digital future. The only countries that are ahead of us at this point in time, and I can't just say at this point in time, there will be no others ahead of us, is first to transition was South Korea, and they started their transition in 2018. And second is the United States of America, who actually started their rollout in 2020. And at the end of 2021, about in excess of 50% of the broadcasters have done the switch to ATSC 3.0. So it sounds like a lot of talk, and the question is, what is it? What does this switch mean? What are the possibilities that are unearthed as a result of this switch? For our group, our brands that are going to be impacted immediately by this are, of course, Television Jamaica, which is a flagship brand in the television services, JNN, Jamaica News Network, RETV, Reggae Entertainment TV, TVJSN, which is our sports network, and One Spot Media, not directly, but somewhat directly is impacted by this change. So I'm going to have you watch a short video, which is going to give you a sense of what digital switchover means.
Television broadcasters are leading the way with a new system that will merge the capabilities of over-the-air broadcasting with the internet. 2 decades ago, the Advanced Television Systems Committee celebrated the FCC's adoption of the first all-digital over-the-air TV standard. It offered pristine, high-definition video delivered in the same 6 megahertz channel once needed for black and white, and then color TV. Now broadcasters are evolving to meet the needs of today's viewers and advertisers. This next-generation broadcast platform merges the best capabilities of over-the-air and broadband viewing. The result is a convergence of the most popular method of watching live events with the variety of programming available online. ATSC 3.0 is designed from the ground up to be all of those things. A next-generation transmission system that can deliver 4K Ultra HD images with high dynamic range, plus interactive features and multi-channel immersive audio. ATSC 3.0 is the world's first broadcast standard built on an internet protocol backbone. This offers the advantage of both broadcast and broadband. Designed to integrate with internet-delivered content, ATSC 3.0 will present viewers with more streams, more choices, more channels, and more flexibility. The system takes advantage of new technology with advanced video and audio compression and more robust modulation. Responding to the needs of broadcasters, this new broadcast platform is exceptionally robust, adaptable for single-frequency network transmission systems that can overcome physical challenges to deliver TV deep inside buildings and on the go. The result is better indoor reception and wide coverage for mobile devices. ATSC 3.0's advanced emergency alerting is designed to wake up sleeping devices, alert families of impending emergencies, and provide a rich variety of video, text, audio, and graphic information when it's needed most. New audience measurement tools come with ATSC 3.0, and the new system can also be a pipeline for delivering data to the car, to mobile devices, and to the home. ATSC 3.0 is built for a variety of receiving devices too. New gateway receivers will deliver over-the-air TV to existing tablets and smart TVs through Wi-Fi. Mobile devices and TV sets equipped with ATSC 3.0 receivers will make TV available virtually anywhere. That's all great news for viewers who will find it easier than ever to tune in to live TV broadcasts anywhere, anytime. For advertisers, ATSC 3.0's advanced advertising features include interactive and ad targeting capabilities in real time to the viewer. Best of all, ATSC 3.0 is designed from the ground up with a suite of standards that can be updated in the future. ATSC 3.0, a new broadcast platform that is flexible, adaptable, and focused on the future today.
So that has essentially given you a very quick snapshot of what digital switchover means for the television industry and for Jamaica in particular. We're going to go through, because that was pretty quick, so we're going to go through some of the highlights of what this new technology means, and you will be able as students to kind of think through, well, what does this mean for you and your future in the industry called media? So what does it mean? Better picture. It's going to support not just HD, but 4K and Ultra HD for broadcasting. The audio is much better. You're essentially going to be getting a movie theater impact audio on your television at home. We'll be able to get audience information. So one of the big questions always, and in Jamaica even more so than anywhere else in the world, is, how many people watched the news last night? You can't tell them. You have to wait for a survey to be done. These surveys are done like once every 2 or 3 years, and they really are just a specific point in time. When ATSC 3.0 is implemented, digital switchover has happened, you essentially, at the end of the news, can tell people how many people watch the news, how many people watch Smile Jamaica. More information for advertisers, which is coming from that data, is going to mean that you're going to be able to sell the product more. Mobile TV and TV every year. There's one thing that wasn't said in that video, and there's another video that actually is a little bit more superior in terms of the highlighting the selling points, but this one is a better introductory video, is that it's free. And this is what is important for you to know. So in much the same way that can stick an antenna out on your roof and you get television, this experience that we're talking about here, including going to your mobile devices, going to your phone, traveling around in your car, is not going to require that you have to buy data. It is going to be available over the air free, just like you get a television signal now, not using cable and paying for it. So what else does it mean? Think about this. We will now be able to get into a position where you're going to know more about your audiences. You're going to be knowing a lot more about this television that is in this particular house, and you have a sense of what that household watches. And if you want, you'll be able to send particular types of ads to that household that is watching a particular type of programming. You're going to be basically, through the combination of internet technology and broadcast technology, do all of the things that currently happen in the internet will be able to happen in the switched over technology for television. This one is very, very important. We would have remembered just last month or earlier this month, last month when there was a flooding in St. Mary, and there were lots of people that were washed out. With digital switchover, you will actually have the ability to send signals to specific areas and just those areas to say, hey, the flood is coming, or here is what is happening in your area. You'll be able to show them pictures and stuff while regular programming is going on. And if you only want to tell the people in St. Mary and close to St. Mary about that, you're going to be able to do that. We spoke about the fact that it allows for ads to be placed in various places and that the technology becomes mobile. So think about it. What are we doing now? We're transmitting analog. We're going to be able to transmit digital. We have only one free-to-air within our group. We're going to be able to have JNN, RETV, TVJ, SN reaching across the island in much the same way that Television Jamaica does. Instant audience numbers are going to be available. We're going to have that flexibility now to be talking to our audiences, talking to our advertisers about what people are actually watching in specific areas. And one thing that's really neat here, which is on the list, is if somebody is a small advertiser, they have a business that they're doing in Mandeville, or NCU themselves wants to have a conversation with your geographic area about something, you actually will be able to place ads and place it just in that area on Television Jamaica. All of these things are things that are going to really revolutionize the business in terms of what the possibilities are. So that's a very short presentation. I'm going to end with something that is really, really important. I tell the team, and I am really excited about being able to tell young professionals who are entering this industry a mindset that I think you need to have. You need to understand the business of media. It doesn't matter what area you're going into. If you think you're going to go write stories now, or you're going to go and do social media management, always make sure that you make it your business to understand the business of media. Understand what it is you do in the chain of the media production line that allows money to be made. The more you understand about that, is the better you're going to be able to appreciate where you want to sit in the industry. And basically, if you intend to stay there for a long time as a career defining kind of choice, that you have a better appreciation of what it is that you're required to do. All right, so that's my short presentation on television's movement in the digital space. And at this point, if there are any questions or anything else that anybody would like to ask, I am here on this or other things within the industry. I can take those questions now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thank you so much, Ms. Grant, for coming and sharing with us today. These are quite some exciting times. We're having some really, really, really interesting things we're hearing now with this Next Gen TV. I don't know about you, Antonia, but these changes really seem like they will give us some great upgrades.
Most definitely. I feel like there's a lot changing, as Mrs. Grant said. And these are things that we have to look out for. The 4K, the HD, and the audio.
Imagine, she said cinematic, movie-like audio from my TV.
So you don't have to go movies.
Don't have to go movies, of course.
Right.
Upgrade. All right. So also, guys, we would like to let you know about our DCS Week of Excellence, which is coming up. April 2 to 10.
But before, thank you very much, Mrs. Grant, for your lovely presentation. We'd love to hear from you again sometime, because I want to learn about audio, and I love when girls are in audio. The girls that get it, get it. So thank you very much, and have a lovely day. On to you, Anna.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who are just joining us, our theme for today is the digital media world. And so, keeping with that, also, I'm your host, Ayana Lewis, and this is...
So, we will be speaking about a lot of categories for the DCS. So we have the silent to short animation, the mobile, and the mini documentaries. And this is something that not only television students can do, we have the radio, the journalism, and a lot more. Now we're going to be throwing to our Week of Excellent promo video and the Lignum Vitae Film Festival at this time.
Last year we broke barriers, and this year we are even more resilient than ever. It's the
First of
Lignum
all,
Vitae Film Festival
you
2022
didn't hear what
on
you
April
said too
10,
much.
live on our YouTube page at NCU DCS TV at 5:30 p.m. Last year, Deadline took the awards by storm. This year, it could be you. Pave the way and prepare today. It's LVFF 2022. It's coming.
You know DCS, everybody know DCS, at the BESTS, them just can't.
It's almost that time again. What time, you ask? Time for the Department of Communication Studies Week of Excellence 2022 under the theme Resilient Communication, Paving the Way to Recovery. Join us for our daily activities starting on Saturday, April 2 with our church service and ending with our Lignum Vitae Film Festival on Sunday, April 10. That's the Department of Communication Studies Week of Excellence, April 2 to 10. Don't miss it.
It's small, little but talawa. Small but packing a big punch. The DCS pins are amazing and add newness to your attire. The intricate design and creativity makes it a must-have. And how about some burgundy? Not that one, this! The new and improved DCS burgundy shirts are a must-have. You're already outstanding, so why not stand out? DCS pins cost $500, while shirts cost $3,200. Get yours at the DCS office today.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's episode of General Meeting Spring 2022. As we come to an end, we'd like to remind you of our upcoming events. Remember, DCS Week of Excellence, April 2 to 10, and our next general meeting is the 28th of March, 2022.
And don't forget our social medias, which are YouTube, DCS NCU TV, Instagram, DCS_NCU, and lastly, our Facebook, DCS at NCU. Thank you guys so much. See you guys at our next general meeting, March 28th. Thank you for our technical team, producers, and God, have a good day.
Strive for excellence. 3.5, nothing less. DCS. DCS. We are the best. DCS. We are the best.
try step two without them feel we left them in adversity. No one throughout the university, we have the key. So how we lack city, always a strive, but some of them yet fissy. So with the palm full of ecstasy.
We continue to strive for excellence. 3.5, nothing less.